Hello, it's Nikki. Welcome back. I have quite a long two-parter today, so grab a piece of paper and a pen. You might want to take some notes. I hope that it prompts some ideas, some thoughts, some feelings, so you get the answer that you're looking at. So one of my specialisms is really helping people to create their income pie, meaning that they can have multiple income streams, they can work in a way that feels good, and essentially what they're doing is designing and delivering it to suit their lifestyle, their circumstances, their personality, their own personal goals. So moving away from the one size fits all, or you have to work a 40-hour week or else. That's the only way to do it. I really disagree with that. And I think that so many of us have work as an important thing to us, but also there are so many other things whereby we measure our success. And sometimes we just have requirements. We need to bear these things in mind. And over the last 25 years, I've been doing that. I've been designing and delivering my own income pie to accommodate all of the things that I wanted to do. And I've only ever been employed once, which was for about 4 months. And very quickly, it was almost like a little test. Like, is this going to work? And I knew that it wasn't. Even though, bizarrely, side note, I'll get to the point in a second. Side note, I was promoted like 5 times in that 4 months. So it was quite interesting. It was almost like a test from the universe of saying, well, if you do this, if you keep going really well, by the end of the year, just think where you could be. And ultimately, I kept coming back to, where do I want to get to? So this process has been something that I have gone through myself very recently. I think there's been a major change in life because my children are both now at school. My daughter joined reception in September 2023. So when I got pregnant when I was 33 with my I knew that just before my 42nd birthday, I would be having this change. I didn't know that my daughter was going to be born, but once she was in 2019, I knew that I had that date. And I'll be really honest with you, it knocked me for 6. It really, wow, that was honest, wasn't it? I just thought that I would go into being very functional, dropping her off and then immediately coming back to my desk and know exactly what I wanted, where I was going. But it's actually taken a good 6 months to figure out what my pace of life is. Because another thing I hadn't quite anticipated was what would be required at the other end of the day. So homework and clubs and have you got this and are we doing X, Y, and Z? So my day has shifted and there is still that level of responsibility, if not more at some points, because there's always that pickup time in the day as well. So there have been many iterations of my business model at various different times. And firstly, I want to say, and this is point number 1, that this is completely normal. Many of us are not going to be the same person when we start in the world of work at maybe 18 or 21 or 16 or whenever you do that, and remain in the same situation until you're 60. We're just not in that time right now. So giving yourself the grace and the permission and the opportunity to change your mind, to tweak, to adjust, is really important. Also, your life is going to change throughout that. Maybe your responsibilities are going to change, what you want from life, your commitment, all of these things. So firstly, recognizing what your capacity is right now. And in September 2023, I went from feeling like I was always not having enough childcare to actually having that space in my week where I could think straight, where I knew that I would have guaranteed hours. So I had to ask myself, what do I want? What do I want? And again, these big questions sometimes take us down because these big questions, it's easy to kind of just say, I haven't got enough time, I'm busy, I'm doing all of this and being in that frantic state. But actually pulling back and saying, what do I want is key, because knowing what you want, knowing your destination, knowing what your version of success is going to help you design your business model. So I ultimately came away from what do I want with lots of nuances, of course, that I'm not going to go into today, but generally a sense that I wanted to continue doing the things that I was doing. So I wasn't going to retrain to be an estate agent, although I think I would be a good estate agent. But anyway, that's another story for another time. I wanted to continue coaching and speaking and writing and acting and collaborating and being in this personal development space, creating content for you. So I knew that I wanted to do that. But one of the things that really helped me to refine and define this next chapter was asking myself, how do I like to learn? How do I like to consume? How do I like to be in this conversation? Now, as you're saying that, you might be thinking, well, that's irrelevant. I don't need to know that. And again, this is an opportunity for you to make sure that your word and your action is this close, because I have a firm belief that you have to be doing the work too. You have to be continually developing yourself, growing, changing, challenging yourself. Otherwise, my own belief is that you can't ask that of other people, because unless you're in the room, you're in the space, you're stretching yourself, the energy feels a bit off, because you move into that zone where you're just stepping back going, well, come on then, impress me, or I'm going to enjoy the fact that you're out of your comfort zone. And that has always been such an important part of my process, making sure that I get it. So when clients come and work with me and they're like, this feels a bit scary, this feels a bit stretchy, I always have that empathy, because I've been there. I've been there so many times. So asking how I like to learn really gave me an indication, especially in terms of my coaching, of how I wanted to design things. So one thing that was in the back of my mind was being able to learn when I wanted to learn. And that's not always possible, because sometimes I have to book time in if I'm working one-on-one with somebody, for me as the client. But ultimately, I was realizing that I do work odd hours sometimes. I do like to catch up on a replay at 8 o'clock at night or 5 o'clock in the morning. And so there was this conversation immediately after COVID where people were saying, well, online courses are dead. And I just thought, for me, they're not. And that idea of things being on evergreen and being consumable whenever that person needs it. We see it with so many models, Netflix, podcasts, catch-up TV. You can make this schedule work for you. You don't have to say, well, it's on Tuesday at 9 o'clock. My mum always says these things of, did you see that show last night? And I will often say, no, I didn't, because I was asleep. But I'll let you know on Thursday when I catch up and watch it. And I was realizing I rarely watch anything live, because again, it just doesn't suit my lifestyle. So asking yourself how you like to learn will not only give you that first piece of evidence that it works, because if you've bought something and you've gained something from it, the likelihood is that you will grow your confidence to show this actually works. This is an incredible offering. The way that I'm delivering it is going to be fantastic for you. It's 9 minutes in already. I'm going to extend this to a 5-part series. I've only done 2 points, so I will see you in part 2. Lots of love. Bye.